manipulators, right? Because they can hide who they truly are.
Also, it's probably, I heard this somewhere on the app, not sure where. It's probably people who weren't raised right, Red.
Yeah. What gets me is that, especially within the Indigenous community across this country, across North America in general, we have women that are buried somewhere in a dump because they were taken from their communities and trafficked and essayed and abused.
They found a couple of
stories going back in history that would absolutely disgust you in every single which way. And well, for anybody,
my mind, Red, is you got these people doing what she did last night, sitting in a live with a woman who's worried about her Indigenous child, and she throws that out there every single chance she gets, allowing a woman to say the shit she said.
Nothing. She stands for nothing. Sense? If she actually cared about Indigenous women or Indigenous issues, especially with MMIW, she would have fucking said something.
Oh, sorry. Oh my God.
Regardless if you like the person or not.
Yeah.
Those words cause harm to an entire community. And not just that community, to anybody that has survived abuse. Those words caused further trauma, further hurt, further harm.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting and shameful.
Yeah. It's just something that doesn't, people don't want to relive that, right? It's not, for people that never been through it won't understand what it's like and how she totally diminished what I went through and how I had to relive that. If you knew the fucking story of what I went through that night, it's pretty degrading. And for her to make me relive that and then diminish me over it is fucking disgusting. But you mentioned anything about anything else and different.
Yeah, it's mind blowing.
Samantha also changed her story. She said at first, "Oh well, I can't control they have a past relationship. I'm not going to get in the middle. That's between them." And then it was, "Oh, I didn't hear it." The story changed within a 10-minute span, which leads me to believe, my opinion, she heard it and is a coward or doesn't care, probably a little combo of both, and just chose to say nothing.
Yeah. 100%. She doesn't care. Unless it's her family. Unless it's her. But even then, she's flaky on that part, too, as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I said it. Come at me, bitch.
It shows what kind of people they are. It shows what kind of people they are, because if you have to go that low, it shows that you don't have any strength, because it takes strength not to go that low. That you should not have to go that low. If you're digging for people's families and addictions and traumas and weaponizing them being trafficked and saying, "I hope they stab you to death," it shows that you are a weak individual.
Yeah.
And then to laugh about it.
Yeah,
that's
that
just
was messed up.
It's spitting on the face of every survivor. Every single survivor, it is spitting on their faces.
Yeah, no, it definitely was messed up.
So you guys don't all like me. I know you guys do, but the people that are screen recording all this stuff, you guys don't like me. Are you guys going to weaponize my assault that happened at 12? Are you going to use that against me? Because you don't like me? It was okay for that old man to do what he did to me?
No, they won't weaponize it against you unless they can prove it's wrong. Because, that's what they try to do, is always prove everybody's wrong about everything. So.
Oh, you're gonna investigate and try to prove that it's wrong? You're
And
going to go to
that's,
that extent?
and that's how like you kind of know that people are liars too when they're constantly assuming that everybody else is lying, especially about like extreme things, right? That people don't lie about, but they think they're lying. Like, why would you think that someone would lie about that unless you're a liar yourself?
When you make
Well, when you should, whether or not you're 100% sure, you should err on the side of caution and you should believe victims. You should because of how fucked up the reality of these situations are.
when you
Right.
make comments of you made money while lying on your back,
Yeah. That was fucked
she,
up.
she was trafficked. Human trafficking. You know, it's a pretty big out in fear.
And all because they don't like someone. Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
The difference between them and me and the people in this box, I know, and I can say this confidently. I would never, ever wish harm to any of you.
Nope.
I would
Oh,
never.
I'm the
ever
same way.
sink to those
Like
levels.
yeah.
I would never, ever, ever weaponize
that's not
your
how that
past
works.
trauma, your past abuse, your culture, or anything about you like that to cause you harm.
Yep.
Would I call out your
Yeah.
bullshit? Yep. Would I call out your shitty character? Yep. But I would never sink to those lows.
No. 100%.
well, I think an
100%.
old school beating up is okay. But I wouldn't want anybody to be like, you know, put in the hospital. A broken nose isn't too bad.
It's still, especially within the Indigenous community, we have missing women and children on a daily basis getting posted. On a daily basis. They're being trafficked right now. Are you going to go after them about that? Are you going to attack them and their families? And investigate to see whether or not they're telling the truth or if it's really happening? No. Or you're going to sit there and put on an orange t-shirt and call yourself an ally, yet spit that foul garbage that came out of your mouth.
Yep. What they do, though. Yep.
All deserve to be, listen, they all deserve to be safe. They all deserve to have their pasts respected, their off-app lives respected, and their traumas not weaponized against them, regardless.
Yep. Everybody
Right.
should have that.
All for a win on TikTok.
Yep.
W's in
All it
the
is.
chat. W's in the chat.
Like, there's so much things that I can bring up, you know what I mean, about Shay, but I'm not like that. You know what I mean? Like, I've already lost who I am enough where I'm not going to stoop to her fucking level and put somebody through that kind of hurt that I went through. And at that time, we were friends, and I felt very sympathetic with her. You know what I mean? Like, I had fears because that's, like, I'm just a crybaby, you know, so whatever, but I would never do that to her. Well, there's lots of things that I wouldn't do that they do, but
Like, isn't there not a statement or a saying that goes around saying, believe all women? Believe those?
Of course there is, Red, but these people don't believe anything that they pretend. It's virtue signaling. If Fancy and Ash and Samantha and all these snaggletooth hoes actually believed what they say they do, they wouldn't do the things they do. Somebody would have said something about what happened to Spotted. The whole chat, I was expecting the whole chat to be up in arms. Like, holy fuck, I don't think so. What the fuck? One person.
Yep.
One person.
One person.
I was like, what is happening here? One person.
I wasn't in the live. I've gotten a couple messages from those that were in absolute shock. Just they were shocked. They were floored. They didn't know what to say. But they're starting to speak up now. Definitely starting to speak up now that shock is gone. But at the same time, the clips that I have seen and what I have seen in the chat justifying what was said because of whatever Spotted had said that may have offended them. Like justifying that death comes upon her.
Yeah, but you say things about them like that, and it's all fucking the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like, that's no better than what things have been said about Fancy. You know what I mean? Like, that's worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, the shit that's been said
She
about
wished death
Fancy.
upon an Indigenous woman in a red state.
Right. Like, that's way
In a red state.
worse. Yeah. And Fancy deserves everything she got.
Nobody deserves hate like that kind of like hate, racially motivated hate. Nobody deserves it. Not like Fancy's a piece of human scum, but Fancy does not deserve racially motivated hate. She should anything that comes to her should be based on her actions, not her skin color. Like I'll blanket that.
Agreed. And anything that has been any harm that has come to her that was racially motivated, I denounce. Like I'm not for that either. But again, what has been said and done. Not only
I don't mean it like that. I just meant like I don't mean it like that. I just meant like if she didn't come in and harass people, and like she would come in and they would say vile things that we're not even talking about like this every fucking day. You know what I mean? And we would ignore them a lot of the time. But if she wasn't doing that, we wouldn't know who she was. You know what I mean? Like, I just kind of, like, basically what I'm saying is, like, I understand where the anger and hate came from.
I just think it's
But, like, it wasn't, like, any harm got brought to her. I don't know.
we don't know that. We don't know how she felt about any of the situation, and I'm not gonna pretend to think I know. I'm not. Like I said, I'll call people out for their character. I'll call people out for what they have to say. You know, if they can engage in some form of a respectful conversation, even if you have different opinions about it, I can show respect for that. But what we have seen on this app only seems to be escalating. And like I said, it did not just harm Spotted.
No, for sure. Get out of here.
It did not. It did not just harm Dosis. It did not just harm me. There's a very large community on this app who have gone through abuse, that have been essayed. The missing and murdered Indigenous women and children movement. There's so much and so many people that have been harmed, and those words further infect the wound that has been placed upon us.
Yeah.
So good on you fuckers for getting your win on TikTok, okay? I hope you're damn proud of yourselves. Go out and buy yourselves a fancy Starbucks or something like that and celebrate at how disgustingly vile you all have sunk to go to that extreme. Sorry, Danielle, I'm angry.
No, not at all. That last night was probably one of the top 10 vile things I've seen, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that
What happened
takes
to
a cake.
Dosa? I think.
Well, no, what we foreskin said
absolutely.
to Spotted.
Yeah, but what they did to you is pretty extreme too.
Yeah, I'm also not like, I don't know. Yeah, it was fucked up what they said to me, but like they literally, like the foreskin literally said, "I hope they stab you to death." They hate Indigenous women there.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I don't know what else to say.
Made
Like
money by lying on your back.
you made money on lying on your back. Her traffickers definitely made the money. She didn't.
She didn't. She was
Hey,
used and
man.
abused.
Hello, Mads.
Hi, Mads.
You should
Yeah,
check
Miles.
the group chat, man.
It is super, super, super bad.
Yeah.
You can't say that you protect, like that you stand up for victims or Indigenous issues or MMIW. You cannot say that if you can say those words. In fact, you are the polar opposite of that. You are a danger to Indigenous women and women in general.
Yep.
If you can say those things to a woman who was trafficked at 11 years old and who was at a greater risk of losing her life, going missing due to being Indigenous. And if you can say those things, and if you can sit with someone who says those things, I really don't know what to tell you. You are the enemy.
Well, I know what to tell them. Stay the fuck away from me and my people. And yeah, I'm done with you guys. Like, it's done. That's it. I'm not engaging. You know what? I'm going to say it. The problem with Samantha is that just what happened last night. The deflection that she's not responsible. No, you're not responsible for what people say. You're responsible, though, for your reactions to what they say. And you sat there and did nothing except make excuses. And you have an Indigenous daughter. Shame on you. You should have been outraged.
No, see, the thing with that is that Samantha always tries to blame Jenny or anybody else for what goes on in their lives, so she can't backtrack now.
What was said last night made me vomit. When I saw the clip, I was so angry and so enraged, I vomited.
Yeah.
Right, Cindy?
And
Like,
didn't they tell Cindy to go build a teepee?
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of pocket, for sure. Out of pocket. Absolutely, for sure. What Cindy said. But what they said yesterday to Spotted about going and getting essay. Anyway, what was said, that was gross. Like, that was disgusting.
It
Hey,
was
bye.
an absolute new low. It was, there's honestly not words that I have that can describe how putrid and vile that was.
I got words to explain it. How many times has she allowed people to do that in her life? Numerous of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but always trying to call everybody else out, like even Brian, too.
She allowed Venom to threaten to spray fucking kerosene on people.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden she's allowing somebody to sit there and say, I hope you get stabbed. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
I don't know, Brian. It's gross. They don't care. There's something morally in them broken.
Yeah, they morally broke themselves by their bad behavior, and now they're going to try to fucking justify everything that they have done wrong.
Well, I'm like, it wasn't Samantha that said it, but it was her live. It could have been shut down immediately. She could have said, no, we're not doing this shit on here. Nope, I have an Indigenous daughter. Shame on you for saying that. Nope, but she will get mad. She will get mad about these fake accounts with their daughter and how that's putting her daughter in danger.
Right, like I just cleared into that. Because her kids are Indigenous, but then she allowed that kind of hatred on her live.
Sooner or later, Samantha is going to realize that she was sitting with all these vile people, and she'll realize that, hey, maybe it wasn't that side that was oh so vile, because they've all tried to be nice to me. They've all tried to, you know,
How do you not stand for your family members? Like, how do you?
I don't know.
Like, wow, you're a fuck bitch just because you're too afraid to stand alone.
What's that?
Look at you, Brian. I mean, you have given everybody on this app ample opportunity to be on your live at one point or another, voice their concerns, have their fights with another individual. You've always been reasonably fair. But the minute you started kind of saying, you know what, I'm done with the shays and the boom, they're calling your wife the most horrible names possible. They're attacking you personally for what you look like, everything. So, you know, where's the moral compass in these people? I just don't understand where it's gone.
Well, the sad part is that there's people that are sitting behind them and allowing them to fucking do this shit and not saying anything. That's why it's happening.
Wow. Like I said, you know, when you see it and you get the proof of it, it needs to be dealt with. And in my opinion, for me, what I do is I block and delete. I don't want nothing to do with the Shays, the Samanthas, the Ashleys. I'm done with that. I'm done with that bullshit of trying to go at people at their lowest, whether they've been making fun of your face, Brian, like your teeth. Grow up, people. Where is your moral compass?
And to anybody that wants to try to justify it or validate what is said, you're just as fucking bad.
Yeah.
You're just as bad. If you don't get up into that live and literally state what was said and what I witnessed was disgusting behavior and denounce it, you are just as bad.
Normally I would disagree with you, but on this specific topic, I 100% agree with you. Like, there's certain things, there's lines that people shouldn't fucking cross, and they shouldn't say certain fucking things. And for people to sit there and not fucking call them out or put them on blast for doing that, they're fucking culpable, right? Like, and honestly, a lot of the times, like, if something's said in passing, I mean, like, whatever, let it fly. That's why I said most times I wouldn't agree with you, but on this fucking specifics, 100% agree with you.
Yep.
Well,
No,
what was
I
said
agree
last
with you.
night was absolutely the most vile thing I've ever heard on this app, to be fair. One of the most.
It's one of the most vile things I've ever heard in my life.
So
He's spoken. Like, I
Unfortunately, you can see that everybody that sits with each other over on that side, or that sits with those people, they've all done a vile, horrible thing. So they literally coincide with each other, right? Because they all know they've done a horrible thing. So because they've all done a horrible thing, they're like magnets. They stick together, right?
yeah. You know, this like last night isn't your typical, like, I agree with you, Miles, right? Like, it's not your typical, like, Betty and Susie had a fight and now they're on live trash talking each other, and the people that don't like Susie are going to go into this one's live and support them and vice versa, because I hate that trauma. I hate bullshit anyway. But what happened last night was absolutely, that was vile. There is nobody in that room.
I'm glad that I missed that shit, because I would have broke my fucking phone. Like, I would have fucking whipped it against the wall for sure. Because, like, I'm glad I was working, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Miles, I saw the clip and I got angry, and like angry to the point where I was crying. I wanted to hit something, and it literally made me vomit. It just made me vomit, because no, I did not experience what Spotted has experienced in her lifetime, but I have been essayed as a child. I know what my mother, a Métis woman, experienced at the hands of abuse from the foster care system and the day schools, and by vile, disgusting human beings. I know what my grandmother experienced.
You know what? No matter what Spotted has done on this app, and I'm not saying, like, again, she's done some questionable shit. We all know it. That comment should never have been said. I don't care what she's
Danielle,
done.
so like in reality, in like real life, like as much as I'm not a big fan, right, like of that person individually, if they ever said that in real life where I'm standing, I would catch charges, right? Because like I would black out and somebody'd be taking an ambulance ride somewhere for sure, and I'd be going to jail. There's no question about that.
Same with me. Somebody'd be bailing me out today for sure.
Yeah, that was like I said, probably one of the lowest things I've heard anyone say on this app. And listen, I've been called a murderer for Christ's sake, and that doesn't even bug me as bad as what was said yesterday.
Has anybody heard Samantha go out about it yet?
Nope, she's made excuses. Doses, I believe, said.
Yeah. And her family members are Indigenous, she says.
Didn't hear it. I guess she didn't hear it, so something like that along those lines.
He was laughing in the clips that I saw.
Oh, was she? There you go.
Oh my
yeah,
Well,
they were laughing. Like when I was in there in the creeper, I'm not gonna lie, and they were laughing. They thought it was hilarious.
More worried about being alone on this app than standing for her family members. That's gotta tell you something right there about her character.
Wow.
Well, unfortunately, I hope that a lot of people that were standing with them see this and actually, take into accountability that, that was wrong and she should have said something. And maybe a lot of people will push it on her and be like, nope, you were wrong. You allowed that to happen. And, maybe she'll have a change of mind. But I highly doubt it. But
No, she'll just make excuses. That's what they do.
Who even cares? We don't want
It is just as bad.
The shock value you get from some people on this app is really amazing. Like, for the people that I was started off with on this app, when they see the deplorable shit that Wallace said about me and my family and everything else, they stood up to him, not a problem. They didn't even blink an eye. But now, some of these people, well, two of them, are now sitting with that piece of trash that I once considered very good friends. So, at the end of the day, that spoke volumes to me. And that's what this app has been doing lately, is just speaking volumes to me about the shit people are willing to say and do. But I'll say, again, last night, that topped it for me.
Mm-hmm.
That topped it.
yeah, it's getting very vile. And people just don't see where their words are destroying things for others. That's the problem, right?
Someone's gonna get hurt. And unfortunately, I believe it's gonna be well deserved.
No, they never.
That for the last fucking 2 years, that something's going to transpire in the real life, and it's going to be a nasty ass fucking situation. Like, it's unfortunate, but I see this train coming, like freight train style. Like,
Yeah.
You know how many people on this app in the Indigenous community are watching?
I've shaved it closer, like
Unfortunately, I'm going to say it's a lot of talk, guys. Nothing's actually going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. That's why it continues going and going and going, right? Because nothing's going to happen.
No, I shave it closer. I know people are just like, oh, here, I'll give you a crack talk. Beat someone up.
Yeah,
I was going to be the key factor of showing people that it could happen, but
I spoke to you about that. That's unnecessary, nonsensical bullshit, Brian. Don't do it. You don't need to. It's not worth your fucking time or effort, man. Especially not to bring in any kind of context, but especially when you know that person's all talk, right? So just move on. You're good.
no, I'm just saying, just to prove to people that it could happen. Like, there's going to be somebody out there that just don't give a fuck.
well, I mean, like saying things is one thing, but actually doing some of these things is just mind blowing to me, to be honest. Like, it's one thing to say, oh, this one's a bitch, this one's this, but I don't know. I can't get over the fact that nobody stood up last night and said that was fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Except one person.
Well,
I
and
just,
people say things to your anger, right? When you have so much shit been done to you, like it's like, where do you draw the line? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, people obviously are mad when they say things. Rather you know the person well enough to know what they're saying has meaning behind it, that's no concern of mine. But we all know the life I live, so test it.
Well, like if those words spoken did not just cause harm to the person it was directed at. You caused harm to an entire community, to every survivor. And it's unbelievable that anybody would sink to that level.
Yeah.
In regards to Indigenous peoples right now across this nation. Like,
well, and I just read that whole comment about how she profited off it, made me want to throw up. Like, what? Who says that?
yeah, when you're being trafficked, you're not profiting off of it. You're being used and abused, and the abusers and the traffickers are the ones making the money.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow,
So, the thing
you
is,
feel justified to weaponize that.
the thing is that people are like, oh, they were trapped into doing it. Well, I was trapped into jumping in my car. All right, I was trapped into it. They pushed me to that point. I didn't say anything horrible or vile or anything. I just jumped in my car and I was gonna go for a drive. That's all I was gonna do. You know what I mean? Maybe we met up, maybe we duked it out, and then it was over and done with, right? But for people to just push and push and push and then have that other person at their breaking point does not give them the, you know, the rights to wish death upon someone. You know what I mean? Or wish, like, very bodily harm on someone. Yeah. Right.
No, nobody deserves that. Like I said, it's an app. If you don't like each other, call each other out, call each other names, make your little digs, try to make the other one cry, and then go and be an adult. You know what I mean? To wish death upon people or any of that kind of, it's gross.
There's always rooms for fights. Like, fights are fights. They happen. You know what I mean? As long as it's a mutual fight.
I like watching
people.
Like I said in the comments, right?
Problem,
Actions
right?
speak louder, move in silence, right? Like, simple as it gets. That's pretty straight fucking forward, man. I've always been the type to do shit on my own, and like I won't fucking say what my next move is, but I've done shit, and it is what it is. You know, it's pretty straight fucking forward.
That's the thing, right? It's actions speak louder than words, guys. Like, everything that I'm hearing on here is all just words. Words. But coming from the people that are, standing up and standing out, like me, for one, I will put the actions to my words. That's the thing.
I don't know. Have we gotten to the point in this world where, you can sit on a live and listen to people say some of the shit they've said and you just ignore it or laugh about it? Like, I don't know. It's just, man, I've given Kenny shit. I've given Kenny shit when it's all out of line or whatever,
Yeah.
But to sit there and no one said a word to this woman, she just went on about everything. It was vile. It was gross.
And that's the funny thing is, because you all were there in that live when I jumped in my car. You know how many people were coming at me, telling me to turn around, to drive home, to not go, to do this, to do that, and all that, right?
Well, because they care about you, right? They didn't want to see you.
No, I'm talking about the other sides, like all those other people.
Yeah.
There. They'll tell me to turn around and do all this, but yet they won't stop those people from saying that shit that created the situation at hand, that led to that situation.
Right.
Kind of funny, no?
No, that's how this starts to show. It's, I don't know, it's weird.
Q Sarah, what they did did say things. They justified it. They justified it based on words that maybe Spotted had said in the past, or her actions that they disagreed with, that to them justifying wishing death upon her and weaponizing her experience with abuse and being trafficked.
Yeah.
They were okay with it. They laughed with it. There was apparently one person
There was.
that spoke up. There was many that I know that were in shock, absolute shock. And people are starting to speak now. They're speaking up now. But those in that live that were not on Spotted's side justified it and encouraged it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It was gross. Like, I don't care what Spotted has said. At no point
No.
what Spotted said deserved any of that kind of,
No.
And I get it. Like, she's mad too, and she was reacting. But like I said,
None of
wish
us deserved.
you don't wish that kind of shit on
No.
people just because you're mad at them or you think that they said something wrong, or you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't make it right. Like, my God, why? If Spotted was being the issue previous to this, then why not just let her stop and ramble on and be the problem? But no, you doubled right down and started going after her. Oh my! Like, it was gross.
Like I said, the words said and done caused a lot more harm to just the person they were directed at.
Well, that's the problem.
Congratulations.
It wasn't just, yeah, exactly.
Like, Bragg, as like your First Nations, right? As a man within that community, how do you feel?
I've said it about all of this shit on app. I do not wish death upon no one. Have I threatened to put harm on people? Yeah, 100%. Or have I said that I would do harm to people? Yeah, 100% I have. But doing harm to someone and talking about taking someone's life is completely different.
Yeah, like, you're probably just talking about like going to fight, right? Like not fucking stabbing someone or
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Hand to hand, one-on-one, a mano, like we used to do back in the good old days, We had an issue with somebody, we fought. The winner fucking walked away and the loser shut its mouth because it knew the next time it would be worse. And that's how I've been raised, right? But to sit there and wish death upon someone or threaten to have someone's life taken or even threaten to have someone's family put in danger, that's where I stand against. 100%.
Well, the fact that she was using the indigenous, like her saying that she was making money off her being a victim, like that was, like, how do you justify that in your head?
That she's gonna be stabbed by the people from Guantanamo Bay,
which is a prison at first.
Like indigenous people.
So it's a prison at first, though. That's the thing, right? Guantanamo Bay is a prison.
Oh yeah, like she had no idea.
Are they saying that she's going to be arrested in Mexico and put in a prison to where she's unalive? Or Texas? Yeah, Guantanamo is in fucking Mexico, ain't it?
No.
Not here. It's not in Texas.
I thought Guantanamo Bay is in Texas. I mean, in Mexico.
No.
It's offshore, is it not?
It's offshore. It's its own little.
I think it's Mexico.
Even in what she said was absolutely wrong. And then, because Spotted is looking at moving to Texas, that she said she hoped she gets stabbed. And then
I watched
her making money by lying on her back. And then laughed about it.
Did Samantha laugh about it?
They all did.
They all did. They all thought it was.
Anybody that has experienced trafficking or SA, especially within the Indigenous community, Oh, fuck, I'm so angry right now. I can't. I fucking can't. I don't want to. I
It's
don't want to acknowledge.
it's southern end of Cuba.
Yes.
Not even in the same fucking place.
No, but it's a American ran facility, right? Like it's
Yeah, it's a Guantanamo Bay naval base, a U.S. military
Oh
facility.
yes, they made that in World War II for the the Afghanistan.
I just want to point out
Or
that nobody on
9/11.
deportations is going there for any reason whatsoever. That's where they send the worst of the worst motherfuckers. They don't send people for deportation. That's Arizona, Florida, upstate New York, and a few other states in the United States. Not fucking Guantanamo Bay. Just throwing that out there.
right.
Yeah,
Oh, before Sons or whatever the fuck her name is, B4 or whatever. Ghost's calls her, I think, before Skin. She was talking out of her ass about like the Guantanamo Bay shit. She couldn't even say the word properly. But at the end of the day, like the fact that she was just saying that she deserved to be stabbed and whatever, and then the whole blaming her for being a sexual assault victim, like it was disgusting.
It was racist. It was vile. It was disgusting. It was abusive.
Yeah.
And they should all be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
well, I don't know if I can throw the whole racist thing on it though. Because
No, they were talking. Before Skin was talking about the indigenous, right? So she had made that.
I know, but she only made a statement towards one person. It wasn't the whole group of indigenous
Yeah, she said that they hate indigenous people. That's why she would get beat up.
people. Yeah, I know, but she said she stated that she hoped that Spotted got stabbed. That's what it was, right?
Right.
It wasn't
Yeah,
a whole
But the
group
way it
of
was said,